Hi gamers. I love Magic the Gathering, and I'm also a bit of a collector, if you know me. Not just with individual cards, but I love collecting these special products as well that Wizards of the Coast keeps making, and I have here a full collection of them, and I thought I'd go through these with you now. These don't include the collector's edition set or the decks like the World Championship decks, because those aren't tournament legal, so only real cards in this collection here. Let's start here with in chronological order. The first one that they made, this box set, is Anthologies. Includes cards from every set that they had from Alpha until Urza's Saga, which during the time that this came out. So a cool little box set here. Then a bigger one, Battle Royale, which includes 4 30-card decks made for multiplayer games. And then a Beatdown box set, and here this cool tin box is Deckmasters Garfield vs. Finkel. Garfield, of course, being the creator of the game, and Finkel being the best player of the game at the time, and they made this box to commemorate them both, I guess, and the game itself. And there's this cool little story about how they had to design their decks without knowing what the other is going to play, and then they actually played out their decks, and there's actually a video about it even in YouTube. So pretty nice bit of Magic history in this box here. And these were made in 1998, 99, 2000 and 2001 respectively, but after these 4 there was a big gap in these special products. It took until 2007 that Wizards made their next product, and that is the first dual deck. Here we have Elves vs. Goblins. All of these dual decks contained 2 decks which are evenly matched and great to pick up with a friend. You can just start playing with them, and they are all are very themed decks. Here we have 2 old rivals, Elves and Goblins, and each one of these dual decks are something a bit of a counterforce to each other. And let's check out what we have. There have been a total of 13 of them released until now. The next one was Jace vs. Chandra. Then Divine vs. Demonic, which includes a reprint of Demonic Tutor. Then Garruk vs. Liliana. Phyrexia vs. the Coalition. Then Elspeth vs. Tezzeret. This might just be the best value for your money. There are plenty of really great cards in this set, including 2 Swords to Plowshares. Then Knights vs. Dragons. Ajani vs. Nicol Bolas. Venser vs. Koth. Izzet vs. Golgari. Sorin vs. Tybalt. Heroes vs. Monsters. And Jace vs. Raska. And the next dual deck is coming in September, Speed vs. Cunning. We don't really know much about that yet. Another series of products was only 3 products long. This has since been discontinued. They're not making these anymore due to lack of interest, I guess. Was the Premium Deck series. Every card in this deck, 60-card deck was a foil card, and these are pretty good, nicely constructed decks. The first one was Slivers, and it includes pretty much all of the most important slivers there was and a pretty decent deck if you like slivers. The next one was Fire and Lightning, and you can tell that they really thought about making a good deck when it actually has 4 of Lightning Bolt. You can't have a red burn deck and not have 4 Lightning Bolts, so at least that was good. And also a nice reprint of Chain Lightning here as well. And finally, arguably the best of these, Graveborn. Also includes a reprint of Entomb, among other nice cards like Reanimate and 3 copies of Animate Dead, stuff like that. I like these, but they didn't really catch on, so they went to making some other products. And then we have some special sets of decks, and these actually have 2 decks. The regular card deck and these oversized cards. First up we have Plane Chase. Plane Chase first came in these 4 decks, and then a couple of years later we got 4 more decks, and each of these include 10 of these oversized cards called Planes. And you play with these rolling up special die that you can see here in the corner, and if you hit the right emblem there, you can planeswalk away from the current plane and onto some other plane, and then stuff happens. This is a pretty fun format, especially if there are some not everybody has equal decks in your play group, so you can just play Plane Chase, and all sorts of wacky things can happen, and it's pretty fair to all. I like the adventure aspect of Plane Chase, and really gorgeous these pictures. You can actually, for the first time, at least in these actual cards, you can really get a good look at some of the places that this great game takes place in. Places like Shiv and Isle of Vesuva and Sanctum of Serra, all sorts of classic places known from other cards. A bit of a similar product was the Arch Enemy. These 4 decks also include a regular 60 card deck, but they also include these oversized cards, and each of these decks include 20 schemes, and this is a multiplayer format. One is the Arch Enemy, and there are 3 other players playing against that lone Arch Enemy player. The Arch Enemy can draw from each turn can draw from the scheme deck, and all sorts of very powerful things happen just for free for the Arch Enemy player, which evens out the odds of playing against 3 players and their combined decks. So this is a pretty fun multiplayer format as well. There were a total of 80 of these scheme cards in these 4 decks, and yeah, like I said, in these Plane Chase decks there were 10 in each deck, so a total of 80 planes here as well. There were a few of promotional planes and schemes as well, so if you're collecting all of them, look out for those as well. And then maybe the most loved products of recent years, the Commander decks. There were first these decks here below, and then next year or last year we got these decks, and this is a yearly product now. They make 5 decks each year, and Commander is really an up-and-coming format, and a really great fun. Everybody enjoys a game of Commander. Here we have the first decks. There were 3 colored decks, and they were of the so-called wedge colors, meaning that you have a color and each of that color's enemy colors, like white, black, red. So that's a wedge color combination. There actually haven't been very many cards printed from these wedge colors before these sets, so these were quite well received. And yeah, I got some cool new legendary creatures of these three colors as well. And of course you can play with those as your commander, and each of these decks also included these oversized cards of your commander options here. There were three in each deck, and also, even though you can see them here, the last year's edition also included 3 of these oversized cards. And continuing with the commander theme, there was also Commander's Arsenal, which is a bit of an infamous boxed set nowadays, I guess, because well, the retail price was it was okay, like I think like $80 or something like that. But of course, the game stores could dictate their own prices for it, and they really did. It's like 3 or 4 times as much the game stores wanted. And I had this pre-ordered at a game store, but they just scalped too much of it, so I picked up my up from eBay. And these are reprints. This doesn't include a deck, but just reprints of, like it says in the name of one of the better commander cards, both the commanders themselves and some great additional cards as well. These are all in foil. And this also includes a nice set of these oversized cards that were included in the standard commander decks, but there's a new set included here. And this also includes some card sleeves, some nice plus-minus tokens, and this really cool life counter that you can click away, and it goes from 00 to 99, so pretty cool and pretty big substitute for just using dice. Finally, we get to my favorite products, the From the Vault series. These are second to none in presentation, and I just love this. Some really great cards in each of these. Of course, sadly, the same thing applies to these as with the Commander's Arsenal, is that these have a relatively low MSRP, but yeah, the game stores always multiply that by some number depending on how great cards are in here, and usually that is a lot, because well, maybe the Dragons, which was the first one, that's most commonly thought as the weakest set here, and yeah, just include some nice dragons, dragon creatures for you to play with, nothing too broken. And next up we had Exiled, which includes some banned cards from Magic's history, and of course you can count down the power level of those cards for sure. And then we had an artifact set from the Vault Relics, and then Legends, legendary creatures, pretty cool. And then Realms, which was all lands. And then to commemorate the 20-year anniversary of the game, they produced From the Vault 20, which includes 20 cards. The other sets included just 15 cards. And this is also an annual set. They keep making 2 dual decks per year, and yeah, the 1 commander per year. And each summer I think they made something a bit different. It's maybe a plane chase, or maybe an arch enemy, or maybe a special set like Modern Masters. So plenty of stuff coming from Wizards of the Coast, but that's just the way I like it. can't get enough of Magic. I just love it. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Bye.